I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start.
Saw dudes, and welcome to Beyond the Dreams Gaming. This video is gonna be kind of serious. Well, pretty serious. This month of September is Suicide Prevention Month, or Suicide Awareness Month. And I personally feel like that's a very big deal. I don't mean to be like all mopey and shit, and like I don't want you to think that, oh, I'm trying to tell like my whole life story. My only goal is maybe if I'm comfortable telling my story now. So maybe if I tell my story, maybe I can help somebody else. If I could get across to just one person, that would be enough. I just want to talk about really quickly how, a lot of us, especially these days, depression, suicidal thoughts, they've become a lot more open. We've been able to talk about these things more, been able to bring more awareness to them, which I think that's great. I think that's honestly a beautiful thing, because these people, myself included, who really need that help, we can get the help that we need now. This is a little bit hard to still talk about, but I'm diagnosed with PTSD, major depressive disorder, anxiety, all of these things, and I've been diagnosed with them since I was very small. I was diagnosed early teenager years, but I've had these signs, and I've pretty much had this stuff my entire life, even as a child. I won't get into that right now. It's not like I mind talking about it, because I've healed from that part of my life, and it could very well help somebody, but I'm not getting to that right now. So I was a very depressed person. I still am, honestly. Um, I know that pretty much almost everybody goes through that hard time. And it's hard to know that some of us just don't make it through. And I think the hardest part, especially with people who are like us, we wonder if we're going to be that next person or not, or if we're going to make it through. And I know how cliche it is, but things get better. And I know a lot of you would probably be like, well, you don't know that, or things aren't seeming to get better. I've been there. I'm still there. But I think it's a matter of, we just have to believe that it gets better. We have to try to be strong. And you don't have to do these things alone. I know how hard that sounds. Even personally, like, it took me until I was fully an adult to be able to talk to anybody really about it. I'm 20 years old now. I will be 21 in a few months, so I'm still pretty young. I'm still going through a lot, and I'm still trying to find ways to, like, fight against this stuff. But how should I say this? I can confidently say that things will get better. They might not be better now, and it might take forever to get better, but things will get better. And I think it's also partly the fact of how we think. Having depression, you beat yourself down. You tell yourself these terrible things, like I'm not worth it, what does it matter, stuff like that. And it is hard, I'm not gonna lie, to change any ways of thinking like that. Even I still revert to those thoughts fairly often. But you have to believe that there is something worth living for. And I know I'm kind of, I guess I could say like privileged in that area because I am married. I do have friends that care about me. But there was a time in my life where I had nobody and I was alone. I was very, very lonely. And I've worked my ass off to get to where I'm at. And I'm not gonna lie, every day to me was, sometimes I would just lay there like, I don't even care. Like, if it happened today, if everything just stopped, I wouldn't care. And that's one thing too, is suicidal thoughts aren't just wanting to harm yourself. Suicide thoughts can even be just wanting to give up on everything. And I think that's another area that we need to be more aware about. It could be just as dangerous, just as hard to deal with. What I wanted to say was, I'm not gonna lie, all of this is very hard to live with and very, very hard to deal with. But we're here for a reason. I'm not a religious person. I'm actually atheist. So when I say that, I'm not trying to say, oh, because, God's plans. But if that's what you believe, that's actually a really nice thing to believe in. And that's good, and you should focus on that. But I feel like we need to find our own things as to of either why we're here or what's worth living. Especially for me, it was very hard to find things to live for. But even the smallest things can make a very big difference. Anything from just the smell of the rain to this is weird, but one of my favorite things is early in the morning when you've stayed up or something and you're just sitting in your bedroom or the living room, everything's quiet, or you're listening to music or just doing something in private, and the sun comes up and a blue washes over the room. I know that's oddly specific, but even those tiny things, if you can focus on those, it really helps make a difference. And of course, friends, family, all of these things, it really, really helps. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk and don't like talking to people. I'm definitely one of those people. I'll keep things bottled in as much as I can until I just break down. But it's good to talk. It's really, really needed. Talking about it, talking to anybody, whether it be an anonymous blog or a friend or a family, that's a good step to getting the help you need. I know not everyone can afford therapists and stuff, but there is the suicide hotlines, and there are free counselings. You just have to look them up for your area, and that's the next big step. I think that I hope I'm helping in some way. I'm really bad at explaining this, and I'm trying my best not to be hypocritical, because I'm still going through a lot. I still have a lot of work to do in myself. But I'm just trying to say it from my point of view, or friends' point of view, that I've seen them go through things. Talking, making yourself heard is one of the biggest things, and just believing that you know, it's gonna get better, that we're here for, either we're here for a reason, or there's stuff good enough in this world to live for. I think that's probably the most important thing to start off with in terms of healing. I didn't mean to make it this long, I'm sorry. So, I have a game here. I don't exactly know what it's about. I think it battles depression. So it's a serious game. I will take it serious as such. I might have a little bit of comedy here and there, but this is a very serious thing. And in honor of this month, friends that people have lost, and hardships that people are still going through, I wanted to, I don't know, I guess play a game, give a message out, make it entertaining. Because people easily skip over these messages. They really do. I know I do sometimes. And I think that's one of the worst things you can do. Even if you feel completely hopeless, I think it's still very, very important to hear people out, even if you don't agree with it. So, alright, new game. Why kill yourself today? You could masturbate tomorrow. Okay, I know I said I was gonna take this serious, and I am. But, it makes a good point. I won't get into this, but, by Eva Winter. I know what you're thinking. Why keep getting up, day in and day out, even though your life is going nowhere? Okay, how do I know? Oh. No raises, no promotions, no hope, no future. And let's face it, no love. So it's just going day after day. But don't feel bad for yourself. Feel bad for exploited immigrants who have their fingers shattered while stocking shelves on graveyard shifts at monolithic retailers. Feel bad for the soldiers of pointless wars who had their arms blown off by IEDs. Feel bad for long-haul truck drivers who need every firm grasp they have left for the dark roads and bottom-crashing races ahead. No matter how bad things get, none of these people can live the life that you can. A life of pathetic, dick-punching resignation. You are lucky. You have food, you have water, you have shelter. Shelter that specifically includes at least one room with a locked door, an internet connection, and a computer you don't share with your elder parents. That's one thing too, when it comes to, like, dealing with the stuff, is you tell yourself you shouldn't be moping, you shouldn't feel bad for yourself because all these people have it worse than you. I've heard that my whole life. Somebody always has it worse than you. And sometimes, yeah, that's true. People do have it worse. But that's not an excuse to undermine what you're going through. What you're going through is serious, and it needs to be acknowledged. No king leaves you too exhausted from one type of hammering to indulge in another. No bishop lives to tell you not to bash yours. There has never been a better time in the in the history of mankind to be completely, cripplingly, devastatingly alone. And yet here you are, thinking about giving up on the good times, not realizing that you still have so much to live for, that there is so much to jerk off to. I mean, they're not wrong. After all, the world is alive. Alive with people as fat, shallow, and broken as you are. Alive with beautiful women that have been lied to their lives. Who get on buses bound for your pornography. Alive with this seething sadness of all our broken dreams. And I hope that you read these words and realize there is still so much inside of you, just waiting to come out. I hope you promise yourself to live to see the day that you truly fall in love at first sight. Lock your eyes onto someone you've waited a lifetime to see. Hit the pause button, take a deep breath, and know that it would be like you wanted. Even if it isn't for the right reasons, by anybody, if only for a moment. Patient transcript. Evan Winter. Doctor, why did you set your alarm clock for 5 a.m. every morning, even though you would never get up for it? Why hit snooze for 2 hours? Patient. I wanted to start exercising. I mean, look at me. I had to. Doctor. Then why didn't you? Patient. I don't know. I guess the night before, you feel like tomorrow will be different? Every night you think tomorrow is the day you're gonna do it. Doctor. Start exercising? Patient. Start everything. Okay. Use arrow keys to move. Z to interact. X to save. Oh. Alt. Enter. Oh, okay, here we go. To expand to full screen. Alright. Oh. Computer. Review. Awake. The Something Awful Forums by Redwinter47. I'm posting this review because I think the community has built up around this game is nothing but a moronic circle jerk. People have taken the fact that it has something false silver of artists, has some false silver of artistic credibility, and blown it out of ridiculousness as a way of feeling better about something that we all know is true about video games. That they are shitty. Oh, okay. An aesthetic way that we have spent our shitty and aesthetic lives. It is not great that the game has 10 different endings that require over 100 hours of average playtime to see. That's just a way of making you feel like you could be special, which is exactly what you never have. It's not romantic that the game deals with broad themes of loneliness and despair. You are actually alone. You are actually in despair. You know that there is nothing romantic about it. None of it includes a longing gaze into the moonlight. It's just pizza pops and prevention until you have a stroke and your parents spend their retirement looking after you. Finally, it is not filled with rich, textured characters whose relationships and dialogue will pull at your heartstrings. It is hours of endless drivel that prefers completely childish conceptions of intimacy and togetherness for the sole and pandering purpose of tricking you into the fake warmth of delusionally believing that you can relate to something that you only wish you did. and you believe in these things because you are nothing. You've never read a book that didn't have a dragon or a laser gun on the cover. You live in a filthy dark room with a laptop and a soda-stained mouse pad. And you play awake, not because it's about human beings, but because you desperately wish you were a human being in the first place. But you're not. You're not the hero. You're not... Oh, you are the monster. User was banned for this post. Reason. Faggot. Oh. Oh, that kind of hit hard. But oh my god, we are gorgeous. My iPad, I keep it plugged in over here. Transcript, late night show. Guest, Evan Winter. Host. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking to author and comedian Evan Winter about his breakout success. Now, we don't have too many writers on this show, but what do you think has become a bit different about your life since all of this has happened? Evan. Well, I used to sleep with an iPad. What exactly do you mean by sleep with? As in, you would hold it close? Well, it wasn't that intimate, but spreading out with it was definitely the only reason I actually needed a queen-size bed. Right. So now you just presumably sleep with women? Yes, women. Definitely women. I mean, not every night, but a normal amount. A regular amount. Exactly, I'm a normal person now, and I'm good with that. You know, you sound like you're already married. I would love to get married. Marriage works. People always seem to think I wouldn't be up for it, but I totally am. Maybe it was the sleeping with an iPad. Oh my god, what a dick. Huh. From Junior Assistant Executive Administrator, CEO Office, to Director Corporate Communications. Subject. Would you like to look at the transcript below and develop new messaging for transitional comprehension interviews by COB? Program is excellent. So the problem is obviously in how your show is telling HR to pitch it. Again, transcript. Thanks for coming in this morning, Evan. Sure. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. Time and time again, I've said that the only thing we need is this company. Besides, top executive talent are young people. Young people who don't go back to bed instead of waking up. Young people who don't just walk around in a trance as if they have no future. Young people who won't let their peers down, even when they're asked to do more with less. Long pause. Sounds like it would be a shame to lose young people like that. I couldn't agree more. That's why I really hope you'll consider staying on with us, even through your comprehension package. Even though your comprehension package will be transitioning from a direct model to an experiential one. A what? A new perspective. A new opportunity to really show us what you're made of. I just want to be completely clear on this. You're talking about no money, right? Well, the philosophy that we're embracing is something that we call life stage-based compensation. We want to hone in on exactly what the needs are for each of our employee groups based off of their current life phase. So, for an employee of your age and demographic profile, we know that you're already looking for is mentorship, energy drinks, and very, very high quality of work that will really give you exposure to a professional environment that you're looking for. I'm 28 years old. I'm not sure what demographic profile you think I'm fitting into. There are a lot of factors there. I mean, there are people who have families to support, and you'll no doubt recall from our mission and vision statements, this is a family company. I watched 3 people who I know have young children leave here with boxes this morning. That's exactly why they were simply released. It would have been irresistible for us to offer them a transitional opportunity. We care enough to get them out of here and back into the search for a paying position as quickly as possible. They have people who need them. Do you? Candidate exits, interview ends. Damn. No. That was years ago. I gotta get up. Okay, so let's see. It's over here. A Sony e-reader. Definitely obsolete by now. Creative Writing, 497Y, University of Toronto. Instructor, Evan Winter. First day of lecture notes. The first thing you should know about a writer is that it will turn you into a person who will find every excuse not to write. In fact, like many things in life, the more you want it to happen, the stupider about it you'll get. A lot of people will never relate to this. A lot of people don't know what it's like to badly want something that very few people will ever get to have. I'm not talking about money or fame, obviously. Everybody wants that. I'm talking about the deeply felt desire to say something that is painful, in a way that is both beautiful and true. But without discipline, this desire will melt away into a crazy, miserable shithead. I'll give you an example. I remember when I decided that enough was enough, and that I was finally going to get serious about becoming an author. I went straight to the nearest bookstore to buy every book about writing that I could simply get my hands on. I was prepared to do anything. Absolutely anything. Except actually sit down and write. There were so many books that I felt I had to read before I could attempt to write anything that I bought a $300 e-reader instead of trying to carry them all home. Of course, I also planned to actually read all the books that I had supposedly read in school. That e-reader sat on my nightstand and collected dust for years. Okay. That's the thing too. It's like when you're dealing with these emotions and this kind of stuff, it's hard to do the things you love. It's hard to motivate yourself. I'm an artist. I do digital art. I do creative stuff. Not really a writer, but I deal with that all the time. I literally have an Instagram page. I'll put that up on my channel. I have an Instagram page that I almost never work with because it means I have to do work. Okay. A PS3, that is the only reason I ever own a TV. Alright. Oh, this is the only reason why I even own a TV. Never use this. I'll take a shower first. Alright? I shouldn't go to work until I take a shower and have had something to eat. Okay, so let's go take a shower. Patient transcript. Evan Winter. What is your earliest memory of disliking yourself? When I was 15 or 16. I shaved for the first time. Immediately, my skin had a vicious reaction to it. Red everywhere. My neck and my jawline were completely covered in huge bumps and rashes. I didn't come out of my room for hours. I hate looking in the mirror, being in pictures to this day. Are you sure it wasn't just poor technique? People always ask that, or at least look like they were thinking it. But no, I've tried everything. It's like a piano wire stabbing you in the face, out from the inside. And it survives beyond every 4-figure shotgun solution in existence. And what happened after you came out? Nothing really, but I knew what it meant. This was high school. You saw those kids with horrifically scarring acne, and it isn't like this looked any better. From then on, I knew I was going to be one of those guys that girls would look away from for the rest of my life. That would be a very painful thing to believe. I guess it was the first time that I realized that you could have just been dealt a shitty hand. That there could be something wrong with you. And that no matter what, you would never be able to do anything about it. In a way, I think you're lucky to get as far as you did without learning that. Think of all the reasons in the world that you could have learned that sooner. Reasons that could have been much worse. I don't really know what to say about that. You only live life as yourself. Take a shower? Yes. Patient transcript. Evan Winters, doctor. Do you ever have suicidal thoughts? What do you mean right now? Are you implying that there are situations where you ordinarily were? Or would? I don't know. A decision like that seems more responsibility than I could ever take for myself. Sometimes I'll stand in the shower for a long time, slowly turning up the temperature of the water till it hurts. Eventually, my body seems to adjust to the pain.